Dust motes danced in the afternoon light, illuminating a forgotten corner of the attic. That's where I found it. Tucked away in a box of old yearbooks was a letter, its envelope yellowed with age, the ink on the front faded, but still legible. Maya. Just seeing her name sent a jolt through me, a sharp pang of a memory I had tried so hard to bury. The letter was unopened, sent right after our big fight, the one that shattered a decade of friendship into a million irreparable pieces. I remembered my anger, my stubborn pride, the cruel words I'd flung like stones. I had refused to even read her side of the story. Now, holding this fragile piece of the past, the weight of my regret felt crushing. What had I thrown away? For years, I told myself it was for the best, that we had just grown apart. But that was a lie I constructed to protect myself from the truth. I had been a terrible friend. I drove her away. Holding her unread words, a single, clear thought pushed through the fog of time. I had to find her. I had to apologize. It wasn't about trying to fix what was broken, but about finally taking responsibility for the damage I had caused. The next morning, I was in my car, driving north, back to the small town we once called home. The miles rolled by, but my mind was stuck in reverse, replaying scene after scene of our shared childhood. The old town looked mostly the same, a living museum of my youth. I drove past Miller's Pond, where we spent countless summer days skipping stones and daring each other to jump into the murky water. I could almost hear her laughter echoing across the surface. Then I passed the worn-down bleachers of the high school football field, where we'd shared secrets under the Friday night lights, dreaming of futures that seemed so bright and certain. Each landmark was a fresh wave of nostalgia, a mix of sweet and bitter. Here was the oak tree we carved our initials into. There was the ice cream shop, where we celebrate good grades and console each other after bad breakups. It was all so vivid, so real, yet she was missing from every picture. The town was a ghost of our friendship. After asking around at a few old haunts, I got a tip. Someone mentioned she sometimes spent her afternoons at Greenwood Park, the one by the library. My heart pounded as I pulled up. I scanned the familiar green expanse, the playground, the benches lining the path, and then I saw her. She was sitting on a bench near the rose garden, sketching in a notebook, her dark hair a little shorter now, but her profile was unmistakable. Time stopped. For a long moment, I just stood there, my carefully rehearsed apology vanishing from my mind. All I could feel was the gulf of years between us. Taking a deep breath, I started walking, each step feeling heavier than the last. She looked up as my shadow fell over her page. Her eyes widened slightly in surprise, a flicker of emotions I couldn't quite read. I stopped a few feet away, my voice barely a whisper. "Maya," I finally said. "Hi." I waited. She just looked at me, her expression guarded. I know it's been a long time," I began, my voice shaky, "and I don't expect you to forgive me. I needed to tell you how sorry I am. For everything, for what I said, for how I acted, for not being the friend you deserved. There's no excuse for it. I was wrong, and I've regretted it every single day," I finished, the words hanging in the quiet air between us. Maya was silent for what felt like an eternity. She closed her sketchbook slowly, her gaze never leaving my face. The silence was heavy, filled with all the unspoken words of the last decade. Then, she took a slow breath and gave a small, almost imperceptible nod. "Thank you for saying that, Leo." A gentle smile touched her lips, not one that erased the past, but one that acknowledged it and chose to look forward. She patted the empty space on the bench beside her. I sat down, and for the first time in years, the space between us didn't feel like a chasm. We didn't need to rehash the old wounds. The apology was accepted. We sat there together, watching the sun dip lower in the sky, a quiet understanding passing between us. It wasn't a return to what we were, but the beginning of something new, built on a simple, shared smile. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, consider subscribing for more.